Okay, welcome to another late episode of the Aiming Five-Hole podcast. Ryan, unfortunately, the Habs lose for the first time back to back. They're playing with fire all night long, my man. You can't.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, they've been at overtime the last two games. They could be up 3-0 in this
They
series,
could.
but they can't be. But
They
they
could
couldn't
be.
be.
They could be.
They couldn't be because last night, or 2 nights ago in the overtime, they didn't get a shot on goal. Tonight, they had one shot on goal and they had like a post.
A
But
breakaway,
like,
and they didn't get a
yeah,
shot on net.
honestly, like the Canadians, they didn't look like they were going to win either of those two games in overtime.
They're playing a little bit of a rope-a-dope style here. They're playing sort of counter, trying to play defensively, but they're just not generating enough pucks to net. I think, and I said to you before we got on the podcast here, I think Gretzky actually said an intelligent thing today during the second intermission where he said just too much east-west and fancy passes that are killing them in the offensive zone. Just get the pucks to the net. Just like put
Yeah,
pucks
they
to the
need
net.
to.
I know Carolina's playing a smothering defensive and they're all over them, but you just got to throw pucks at the net. They're just trying to throw passes in the offensive zone, not getting
Yeah.
pucks to the net. And look at what happened when they did do it. I know it got called back, but throwing a puck to the net, got hit somebody, hit Ellers and into the net. But man, you can't get 13 shots 2 nights in a row, 12 the night before, 13 tonight, and expect to win when you're getting outshot 38-13.
Yeah,
And
look,
if it
there are
wasn't for
two.
Dobish, man,
Yeah, it would have been ugly. Although if it wasn't for Freddie,
Fred,
like half of Freddie's saves were pretty
yep,
on
yep.
point, like game savers. But I will say this: there are two things that stand out more than anything to me in this game. The first period and the first part of the second period was the same thing that we saw in game two for pretty much the whole game, other than the last 10 minutes of the third period, which was that forecheck just killing the Canadians and forcing turnovers and really just sort of not giving them the room and that gave Carolina all the room in the world to just flood the zone and get shot after shot after shot after shot.
Well, it's also giving their
Here,
defense a chance to
yeah,
hold the blue line, like that forecheck, and then the turnovers are allowing the Carolina D to hold the blue line, and the amount of
yeah,
pucks that got to the blue line and not out was amazing. Like tonight,
yeah. But
they
that
were,
was the first. That was the first period, right?
yeah,
And
it
the
was the
first
first
part of the
period and a
second
half.
period.
First period and a
Yeah.
half. I was
But then the
actually,
Canadians started that the part that started to really bother me was that the Canadians had room to break out,
right.
right? It wasn't that they were getting like they were just getting it out of their zone to survive. They were having controlled breakouts in the last half of the game, and they still had one shot in the second period and one shot in the third period. How is that friggin' possible? Like
It's
you've got to like they
I
got
actually
the
had 6 shots in the
yes they
second period, but
yeah, I mean they got the first goal off of forecheck, right? And the goal last night to tie the game, 2 nights ago to tie the game was Anderson. Both of those goals were on forecheck and chaos,
right, and
right?
and and
You got to
throwing the puck
cause
to
the
the net, and
chaos.
just throwing the puck to the net and hoping something happens. It hits somebody who cares. It deflection. That's what you need. That's where they're getting their. They tonight that
Yeah.
goals
You
weren't
got to
happening
get
like
them
that.
out of their defensive structure. You
Yeah,
have,
well,
and by the way, you're a fast enough team to do that. Like
yes,
you should be quicker on pucks than you are being, but they lost so many races to the pucks in the offensive zone and the defensive zone tonight. And that brings me to the second point that has me all worked up was
you're worked up tonight.
the number of turnovers, the
21
number
tonight. They
of
were credit for.
turnovers.
It felt like 41. I don't know
Oh,
where they
well,
got
including the
21
one that
from.
ended the game. Sorry, Lane Hudson, you had a wonderful game, but that
Yeah.
was a disaster.
Well, there was three
Um,
there just before that in their own zone. There was three giveaways in a row,
yeah, in one shift.
one shift.
It
OT. You
was
can't do that.
You cannot do that. You can't.
No.
Too many passes with one hand on the stick. Too many blind passes. Too many casual skates into the boards to retrieve a puck. You want to give yourself a fraction of a second to make a play. Make sure you get there a fraction of a second before the defenseman.
Yep. Yep.
And you've got him. And I'm sorry, like they've got. Maybe you got to get Jack Eye back in the game because they just could not match the physicality
Well,
of the Carolina Hurricanes
Jack Eye
tonight.
And I've been saying it since the beginning of this series. I don't understand why Gallagher's not in there for the energy. If you're only going to play Levo for 8 or 9 minutes a
Valeno.
game, Valeno, sorry, Lino, Valeno, Valeno for 8 or 9 minutes a game, put in Gallagher. At least he's going to give you some energy. He's going to go and hit somebody. He's going to press the forecheck. He's going to do something exciting to get the
I
team's
think he's
motor
going to play
running.
the next
He's
game. I
got
think
it.
he
If he's
has
not
to
in
play
there
the
next
next game.
game, I question St. Louis. He's done a great job with this team, but I question those moves of going back and forth to
Yeah.
Valeno and Kapanen, and it's just not working. You got to try something different. And the one time he did put in Gallagher, he proved him right, right? So put him
Yeah.
in there in the front of the other thing. And I asked you this question, and they talked about it a little bit at the beginning of this game. Montreal's home record now in the playoffs is 2-5. With that
Yeah.
crowd and the energy that they're giving is just it's just astonishing that they have such a poor record at home. And it goes beyond just the record. Like goals for at home are 2.6, goals away are 3.5, goals against are 3.1 at home, 2.4 on the road. Power play at home is 17%, although they were 50% tonight. On the road, they're almost 30%. PK is almost 70%, at only 70% at home. It's 83% on the road. So it seemed to be having struggles at home, which is really weird with that energy of that crowd and the feeling and what's going on there. That fan base is in a frenzy. It's amazing. I wish
Yeah.
we
Well,
could
I
take
think,
that
but
and put it in Toronto.
well, look, I think there is a strong possibility that the youth of this team is affected by that energy at home. If obvious, I mean, that
Too
seems
much
kind of obvious in
pressure, too
retrospect.
much, but I don't.
Pressure, too much adrenaline. At least to start the game, you're not making good decisions, but that wears off, right? And then they've
Right.
got to play the rest of the game. And I think it's been a pattern for them all season long. I
Yeah.
felt like they were always a better structured team, a stronger team on the road. And I said that before the playoffs started, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, they were starting on the road in Tampa, but they're a better team on the road than they are at
Well,
home. And
you did say that right from the beginning of the playoffs. You said, I'm okay with them not getting home ice advantage because they are better on the road. They won 2 game 7s on the road and they're seemingly not doing it at home. So, but
yeah,
they got to take Wednesday night's game or they're in trouble. They got
oh
to
yeah, they
send us
have to win.
back. You got to send us back to Carolina at tied at
Tied.
2.
Yeah.
You go down
Well,
3-1,
for
you're in
multiple
trouble.
reasons. Number one is if they go down 3-1, you and I are going to game
We
five.
will be in the arena for
We will
game
be in the
5.
arena. I'm flying across this damn country to see game five. I'm not going there to see Montreal go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going there to see them take a 3-2 lead. So
Yeah.
they better win game four.
Yeah.
The second reason is they don't. If they're going to continue to get outshot 2-1, 3-1, you're not going to win 3 games in a row. That's for
No.
sure.
No, no, not at all.
So you're going to have to find a way to power through.
The other impressive thing that they have done is they just continue, other than Dobish playing well, 33 block shots tonight.
Yeah,
Their
they
defensive
defended
core, their
great.
offensive core are just blocking
They def-
everything.
they defended really, really well. I mean, look, you could say they only had one shot in overtime. Uh, Guess what?
All
Carolina only
you,
had six.
yeah. Well, one is all you
Like,
need, but
yeah,
you still need to generate a little bit more
right,
pressure, a little bit more. You just flip the puck on the net. Who knows what happens? A bounce, something happens. Just flip it in. But again, like I said, too much east west and not enough north south when it comes to the puck
right,
movement.
right. By the
That's
way,
killing them.
it's not just a matter of shoot the puck too, right? It's shoot the puck
Oh,
and get people in front.
yeah.
You gotta do both of those things. And Anderson's done a great job of that. That's why they put Valeno in the game tonight, to win battles in the corners and to get his ass in front of the net.
But he didn't play
But
that often.
yeah, you gotta put Gallagher in the
Yeah.
lineup. I think you need that inspiration.
And I said it before the series too. I was questioning Jack I not being in there. I know he's not as swift of foot as Struble, but
He's
uh,
actually a really good skater.
yeah.
It's just that he's not that swift of brain
Yeah,
sometimes.
but what
And
you
he
need him
can
for is to
he
hit people and get in
yeah.
there. And if you're going to play, he's only going to play 8 or 9 minutes a game, then that's fine, right? So,
Yeah.
but you need
They
I
just
agree. They
worry
need some
about him.
physicality. They need somebody back there that can absorb the abuse because that Carolina Hurricane team is just buzzing around. And although the Stankoven, Hall, and Blake line didn't generate a lot of points tonight or goals, I thought they were buzzing all over. Like Carolina has gone up now 2-1. And I was going to, one of the things I was going to talk about on this podcast with very little out of Aho in these playoffs, let alone in this series.
Mm-hmm.
And even Stetsnikov hasn't done much until this
Svechnikov.
overtime goal. He's been invisible up until that overtime goal. I thought
Actually, I think he
Aho had
had.
a
I
good
think.
game tonight, but he's not generated much offense.
Yeah.
And Stetsnikov hadn't done anything until this goal tonight.
Yeah, say it with me. Andrei Svechnikov.
Snetsnikov,
Not even
not
close.
even close.
Well, we'll move on. Look, I think I don't know. I felt like Jackson Blake had 67 shots on goal tonight,
Oh yeah,
and
like I
so
said,
did.
that
And
line was buzzing and generating. They didn't score, but they were generating a ton of chances.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. It was such a it was such a frustrating end because, by the way, it wasn't just the one turnover that Hudson made that caused the goal. It was like five turnovers in the minute leading up to that that just had my blood boiling. And then when the goal went in, I scared the living daylights out of
Well,
my fiance.
I
I
was
was like,
I was
I
thinking like you, like the first period and a half, it felt like turnover over turnover over turnover coming out of their zone, couldn't get it. It got to the blue line, couldn't get it out. And then I thought they settled down the second half of the second. The third period, there weren't as many turnovers. And I was about to write you actually and say, hey, they're not turning around for the puck as much. Then in the overtime, there three in a row, and then again the winner was like done. Like, oh
yeah,
man, what happened? They also, I mean, you wrote to me at one point. You said they're looking tired.
yeah. They
They're
they were
playing the extra
definitely.
six hockey games has shown right now.
Yeah. I also thought like they were so they were trying to be so hard on the puck and energetic in their own zone
Yeah,
that by the time they were getting offensive zone time, like their forecheck just looked, other than a couple of guys, Anderson,
yeah.
Slavkovsky,
Demidov, I thought had a.
Texier,
I thought
Demidov,
Demidov
man,
had
he
some
was throwing
chances.
his body around.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, they had some, like there had a few guys that had a lot of energy, and then they had some guys that just look, and Deneau too. Like Deneau continues to have a fantastic
The
playoff.
guy you didn't
He's
want.
the guy I didn't want. The guy I didn't want to give up a second round draft pick. If they had given up a third, I would have been excited at the time. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, well, it turns out it was at a second round draft pick. It was a hell of a
yeah,
pickup. So,
absolutely. But you got to hand it to
um,
Carolina. They're everything they've built up to in terms of speed, forecheck, energy. They're just relentless on
yeah,
the forecheck and pressure on the D, and they're looking pretty good. I hope Montreal can pull this one out. And they can. Look at they're still in this thing. It's only 2-1. They
it's
win at
two to
home.
one. It's two
They
to
win
one.
at
A lot
home
of hockey.
tomorrow. It's back to even ground. They can win one in Carolina. And look at they've proven they can win on the road. Your point, they're better on the road, so they can pull one out
Yeah.
tomorrow on Wednesday night. Pull one out in Carolina on Friday. Come home, either win it or hey, who knows? Maybe they can win 3 for 3 on game sevens.
You never know. You never
Let's
know.
see.
But look, as I've
Looking
said, we're
forward
playing
to
with
it.
house money at this point, right?
Yep,
Like I
absolutely.
know, I thought they might win around. Now they're in the conference final, so I'm happy
Yeah,
with this season, no matter what. I just would like
absolutely.
it to be a nice, hard fought,
Seeing
mistake
a little
free
more
ending.
gray
If
in
they,
that beard though through these playoffs though.
yeah, yeah, I've got to start trimming it shorter to hide that gray a little bit. All right, let's move out
Move
west,
on. Let's move out
which is not
Oh
making you and me
man.
look good.
No, no, it's not looking anybody look good. This is just a frightful series. Like what happened to what happened to the Avalanche? They went they just buried the Kings. They buried a very good Wild team and now they're looking terrible. It's like they forgot how to play hockey in this series.
And their two best players are really badly hurt,
Yeah. Well, McKinnon
walking wounded.
McKinnon didn't get hurt until game 3.
Yeah,
Makar
but
came into
I
this
mean now,
series. McKinnon came in. Sorry, Makar came into the series injured. Didn't play the first two games, obviously, which really happened. One of the things we talked about with the Avalanche is how deep they were. However,
yeah,
their depth players is Marty Natchez even playing in this series? because he's being
Oh, he's not even a
invisible.
depth player. He's a 100-point
Well, I
star.
understand that, but he's being invisible
Yeah.
in this series. And other than the goal the other night in Game Three, I think Kadri's had a terrible series. So like he's being invisible. So the strength of this team of being depth has not proven to be the advantage.
Yeah.
Wedgwood and net, there's been some soft goals. That game winner last
Yeah.
night was terrible.
Not a credit to him.
No, like, and I'm surprised that Blackwood didn't go in. They've been a back and forth platoon goaltender team all year long. Although I know Wedgwood played better down the stretch, but after losing two, and even the coach in his Bednauer after the last game said we need our goaltender to make some saves. I was shocked not to see Blackwood in the net last night.
Yeah.
But it's also showed when their star players aren't in the lineup, how much it changes that team. Like it's shocking when
Yeah.
Makar's not in there, how their offense doesn't go the same way. Now MacKinnon's injured, and I didn't think MacKinnon's had a great series so far. Like he seems like he's to the point we talked about Montreal a little bit. He wants it so bad. He's tugging the stick a
He's
little
trying
bit
to
too
do too
much. He's
much.
trying to do too much. He's yelling at his teammates. They just don't seem like that finely tuned engine they were in the first two series, and they look fantastic against the Wild. And it just seems
Yeah.
to have the switch flipped in the wrong direction on them, and you got to give it to
They're
the
also
Knights and Carter
they're
Hart.
also losing the yeah. Well,
Carter
don't
Hart has played amazing. Like the beginning of
yeah.
this playoffs, they said we're going to see all three goaltenders in that first series. I thought even last night after the first three goals that he would get pulled, and
Uh,
nope.
Look, I think this series is being lost in the trenches, right? Like, yes, Kadri hasn't looked great. McKinnon hasn't looked fantastic. Natchez has been invisible. Ross Colton is like the only player on that team who I've been impressed with. Um, and Devon Tays is putting in yeoman's work, trying to do his job and Cale Makar's job at the same time.
Yeah,
That's not a recipe for success, but they're losing so many board battles. They're losing races to the
yeah.
puck. It just looks like Vegas wants it more. It looks like they are more energized, which is a little surprising to me, especially given how badly Nathan MacKinnon wants to just put the whole team on his back. Now,
But part of
let's
that might be the
be
problem. Like I said, he's trying so hard. He's trying to do too much on his own, and
yeah.
not playing that style that
But when
got
you're
them to where they were,
yeah,
where they are. Like it just seems like everything's flipped. Avalanche came into the playoffs, the number one seed, looking great. First two series looked
President's Trophy
awesome.
winners,
President's Trophies winners.
the curse is upon us again.
And the Knights, up until the last 8 games of the season, that coaching change, they could have not missed out in the playoffs completely. Hart
Yeah.
Hart was injured. Their goaltending was terrible. Their defense wasn't playing great. For as deep as that defensive core is, wasn't playing very well. And all of a sudden, it's just like they've gotten on this roll, and they just and I didn't think they played all that great against Utah. They played better against Anaheim.
Anaheim.
I
Yeah.
actually think
They're
Utah
just
had them on the
finding
ropes and couldn't finish them off. And now they
they're
just,
finding their game. They're
yeah,
definitely finding their game. Look, they are clearly I think it's evident that they are going to represent the West
don't say it.
at
I'm not
this
giving up here
point.
yet. I'm not giving.
You're
I
not giving
can't.
it's
Because if
well, look,
Marner wins the
McKinnon can barely
Stanley Cup playoffs, I'm going to stop watching hockey, stop talking about hockey, and stop playing hockey. I'm going to forget
oh
I ever
wow.
was a Canadian. I'm just
You're
not.
gonna just be
I'm going to.
a full-time Pittsburgh Steeler
I'm going to be
fan.
a full time. I'm going to be a full time golfer and forget about hockey.
It's well, look, I'm just trying to think ahead. If the Canadians, knock on wood, they don't lose, but if they were to lose their series, I don't think ESPN and TNT are going to be very happy about a Carolina Vegas final.
I don't know about that. I think Vegas has
Ratings wise,
no,
no.
you don't think Vegas turns the needle from I know they're the most hated team, but you don't think
Yeah,
Vegas turns the dial in terms of
not one little bit.
viewership? No?
Nope, not one little
No.
bit.
No, I look at
And on
I
top of it
completely
all,
agree with you that they would rather have a Montreal Avs final.
yeah,
They probably have rather have a Montreal, I mean a Avs Carolina just because they have two US markets. But
yeah,
Montreal would be great for the NHL because then keeps the Canadian market, but Canadian market's going to watch it regardless.
yeah.
But
Well, I also think Montreal, with its history and like you
yeah,
could really play up a
yeah,
final
but it's a
broadcast, blah
ratings
blah blah.
thing. It still takes a
Well, that's what I
market,
mean. It's
still
like,
takes a market out of your demographic when you're pulling a market in terms of the ratings and stuff. But let's not get into that. This
yeah,
get into inside baseball when it comes to
yeah. Well, we can
ratings and
talk
stuff
about it
like
when it
that.
happens. But yeah, so look, all more more credit to Vegas for what it's doing. Obviously, Tortorella has them playing very free, very aggressive. Their defensemen are playing ridiculously well.
Well, it's a good defensive core. Like the team is
It's
probably
okay. It's a
playing
fine defensive
well,
core.
it's actually good. You got um
Theodore and McNabb. That's your number
well,
one pair.
Hannafin is not Hannafin, and then you've got Anderson back there. That's a top four. That's not a bad top four.
It's not.
And McNabb
It's a good.
and
It's a good
McNabb. It's
top four.
still a deep. This team's playing the way they were built for. They're
Yeah,
deep. They're deep.
you have they're
They just
deep, but they have two second pairing defense. Like they don't have a 1-2. They have two 3-4s and a 5-6. That, by the way, that's pretty good. Like it's
uh,
pretty good. But I don't see that dominating a team like the Colorado Avalanche.
no, no.
And which suggests to me is that they've got guys like Eichel and Stone and Howden
Well,
and the
Stone's
rest
first
who
game
are
was game three, so you can't. Stone
no,
didn't play in the first two games, but
understood. But
no,
it's just that's the style of team with that come with the back pressure and take pucks off your stick from behind and make it hard to get inside the dots when they're pressuring the cycle game and stuff like that. And they've done a really, really good job. Hats off to Tortorella. I never thought I'd say that again. But they've done a really, really good job. Eichel is playing like an all-world player. Um,
don't say it.
and some guy named Barber or
Uh,
something. I don't know.
Look,
He's playing pretty
he's had
well too.
a good series. Like the other night though, when they were down 3-1, he was -2. He ended up being
How would he
even on the
finish the
night.
game?
He finished the
Yeah,
game even.
yeah.
But still, again, we talked about it last week. It begs the question, where was this in Toronto? But the team is different. Toronto is, look at Toronto's defensive core versus Vegas's core defense. It's just nothing comparison. It frees him up to do what he needs to be done. And again, I said it last weekend. Toronto just isn't as deep as this Vegas team from top
This
to
Vegas
bottom in
team.
terms of the bottom six, and it's a problem in Toronto because they overpaid the five guys and couldn't build a team that is deep as this Vegas team. It
Yeah,
just was never going to happen. And people, like I said this, I get sick of people walk up to me and goes, "Oh, don't you wish you still had Marner?" No, it didn't work. Right? It didn't work.
yeah,
So something had to give. Do I like what's gone on with the team? No. But again, I blame former management for making a lot of bad mistakes previously in order to, and I talked about it a lot before this year, is the bottom six of the Leafs are terrible. And we kept
yeah,
changing them over.
yeah. With
And
more
now we weren't going to
retreats,
talk
like
about this,
retreat
but
after
now
retreat.
one of the guys I hope they traded in the offseason now is out indefinitely. And Domi is out because
Mm,
complications from surgery, and hopefully he's okay. But I was hoping he was a tradable asset for a draft pick or something, or another bottom six player. But now we don't even have him to trade, right? So
mm. Well, look,
Frustrating.
he'll be reevaluated at the beginning of training camp. That's so
Yeah.
you don't know when he's going to be back. But look, the other thing that just getting back to Vegas, um, is that I think when William Karlsson came back from injury,
Oh, it changes the
it made
dynamic of the
it
team.
made it much harder for people to match up lines because it just increased their offensive depth so much that you couldn't just focus on the Eichel line
Yeah.
and be done with it. They could throw so many different things at you know. All right, well that takes us through both of the conference finals. And I guess
I'm not giving
the
up on the
next
Habs. I'm not giving up on the Habs.
I'm
I
not
mean,
giving up on that. I'm not
I'm
giving up
not
on the
giving up on
Habs
the
either.
Avs because anything, as long as MacKinnon plays tomorrow night, if they
Oh, you're
can
not giving up on
squeeze
the Avs. I thought you
Avs, I'm
said the
not giving up the
Habs.
Avs. I'm not giving up on either, but I'm not giving up on the Avs. If MacKinnon can play tomorrow night and he's healthy enough, McCarr can
He's
stay
playing on
healthy
one leg.
enough. I
He's playing
understand
on
that.
one leg. Makar
If
can't shoot.
if they can win one at home, somehow squeak one out there, come back, who knows? I gotta believe. I
Yeah,
have to believe.
I'm calling this over. I'm calling this over.
You think it's about four straight tomorrow?
I think it'll be four straight. McKinnon is on one leg.
The only good thing
One
about it
leg.
is it happens tomorrow night. I'll be on the ice. I won't have to watch it. I only have to watch the shortened version,
Yeah, the condensed
the
game.
condensed game. And I've seen
By the
every
way,
game so far this playoffs. It's been discussed a
yeah.
lot. We talk about it.
As
Anyway,
media guys, by the way, before we go, before I just want to say something about that.
but what?
Whoever came up with the idea of the condensed game is a genius.
Yeah.
They've been doing it on the NHL app for years now. And I
Yeah.
just honestly, like, I'm not the brightest guy. I don't have a whole ton of great analysis when we do this or when I talk to you offline or when I talk to guys at work
What do
about
you mean? It's
hockey and stuff
great
like
to the
that.
two of us. It makes us
Yeah,
cracks us up.
it sounds fantastic to me, but I'm not stupid. I'm not so stupid
We're-
that I know that I'm not. But what wisdom and what insight I do have, I have to credit a lot to watching condensed games because I don't. This isn't my job. I don't watch a ton of live hockey. Like, but
Yeah.
being able to watch a game in 20 minutes
Yeah.
that interests me. Wow,
It's been great. Well, it's
what a
modern
brilliant.
entertainment, modern media, right? It gives you with all the
Yeah,
assets and the platforms and stuff now, gives you the
yeah,
ability to put these pieces together. It was always possible. Now it's
yeah,
something, right? So, but it's
yep.
all great. But I guess we will see each other on Friday night in Carolina.
Absolutely. We thought
Hopefully
we
it's
might do a
2-2.
special episode from Carolina, but
Yeah. Now we won't have enough time. We're not there
we'll
long
wait till
enough.
next week.
We're not there
Yeah.
long enough, but as I said to you before we got on this podcast, I will wear the hat. I can't
But
wear
you're
a
not wearing the
jersey as
jersey.
well because it's sacrilegious for me to go in public in the Canadians hat, but I will do it for
Okay.
you. I will do it because I need a Canadian team in the final. I need to believe a Canadian team can still win the Stanley Cup playoff, even if it is the Montreal Canadiens. But I will see you in Carolina on
Yeah.
Friday.
Okay. I will be wearing my white jersey
There we
because
go. You
Carolina
got to
will be
stand out
wearing.
in Carolina.
I got to
Yeah.
stand out. So if anybody's watching this and they see a guy in a white Canadians jersey,
That'll be you. We won't
hopefully
be
it'll
the only
me.
Canadian fans there.
True, but most of them will be wearing red. It's just it seems like
Well, let's
I didn't see.
see how many people listen to us. All Canadian fans going to Carolina wear white jerseys. Let's see how many we see.
Makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. And if you and if anybody does see me on camera at some point,
Yeah.
send us a shout out on
There
Instagram.
you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I'll see you on Friday. Hopefully it's 2-2, and we will see everybody else. Hopefully on a regular scheduled time on Sunday night or Monday morning when you get it, but on the Aiming 5 Hole podcast. We'll see you later, Ryan.
Take care, buddy.
Talk to you there. Bye-bye.